Hello, I'm Dempsey Young. For those of you who don't know me, I'd like to tell you a little about myself. I live in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, and since 1973 I have been an original performing member of the bluegrass band, The Lost and Found. We've recorded many albums, done some television series for many PBS stations, and in the year 1982 we toured 5 countries in Europe. During this video, we will show you the basic bluegrass rhythmic chops and cover backup work and show you the melodic lead to many songs. Now that you know a little about me and what we're going to learn, let's begin with looking at the mandolin's basic parts. Okay. First, we have the headstock, which includes the tuning keys. Then we have the nut. Then we have the fingerboard, which includes the frets. We have the bridge, which is adjustable up or down. We have the tailpiece, and this mandolin is known as an F-style mandolin, which includes your F holes. For those of you who want to become full-fledged musicologists, the bottom string, which is your first string, open, is E. First fret, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and E, which is your 12th fret and known as your octave. Second string, open, is A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and A. Third string, open, is D. D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, and D. Fourth string, which is your top string, open, is G. G sharp, A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, and G. There are several different ways to tune. You can use a pitch pipe, a tuning fork, or electronic tuners. Now, let's tune our mandolins together. Our bottom string is E, our first set, E. Our second set is A. Our third set is D. Our fourth set is G. Now you can also cross tune. You can go to the 7th fret on your top string, which is G, and that will give you the string below it open. And you can come across the strings. First, some basic chords: a G, a C, and a D, and back to G. Now for bluegrass rhythm chops, you'd use a fuller chord. This will be your G. Go up 2 frets will be an A. Up 2 more frets would be in B. Up on the next set of strings, we have a C. Up 2 frets is a D. Up 2 frets is an E. Up 1 fret is an F. Now to demonstrate the bluegrass chop, we could take an old tune, and you'll notice as you hit the chop with your right hand, you lift off of the chord, off and on. Like, she'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming round the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. Okay, for our first fiddle tune, let's start off with the old standard, Old Joe Clark. We'll start off with the basic melody. Now you'll notice right there we're using all downstrokes with the pick. I'll do that again. Now we'll do an up and down pick on the same second string. The 2 bottom strings ended. I'll do it again. Now here's the second part. Now you'll notice on that second part you have a slide, and a slide again. With the 2 bottom strings again. Now let's go back and repeat that up to speed. Now, good musicians take that basic melody we just played and they'll add some extra licks to it. It's so-called sweetening up or hot licks. Now let's look at a version of that. Now that's the first part. You'll notice quite a few more licks. Let's look at it. Now you'll notice a lot of up and down picks on the strings there. Now the second part of that song . Now, let's go back and do it slow. Okay, now let's do that version up to speed. Okay, now you've learned your first tune, Old Joe Clark. Now let's move on to another tune. There's a song in the key of C. It's a song called the East Tennessee Blues. Alright, let's start this tune off with just a little bit of rhythm. We call it setting the timing. Okay, that's the first part. Now let's slow that. We've got a little slide there. Okay, now the second part. second part. Let's take it again. You have kind of a double lick. And we kind of grab a chord there. And we hammer. Alright, now let's do that up to speed. And we'll set our timing. Okay, in this section now, we thought we'd look at some other type tunes that you could relate to the mandolin and could be played in other types of music, different styles. Now, I have a tune that's recorded called Alley Cat, and it would go like this. It has a intro lick like this. That's the first part. We'll do it one more time for you, just a little slower. The intro. That's your intro. And here's the song. Notice we're using a little bit of a chord there. Alright, the second part. Now you've got a tremolo, which being your long notes there, with a little trill. And back to... Then one more, and then what is called a chime. You do this by laying your finger lightly on the 12th fret. Then back. And then we've got an ending. And we have a slide back to that 12th fret. One more time. I'll go through the parts just a little faster. Second part. We're coming on the big finish now. Now you've got that jazzy ending. Now let's go from that into an old tune that would fall in the lines of rockabilly called Memphis. Okay, you're probably noticing there's sort of chord structure things going on here. I'll go back and do the very intro. I push off the first fret. You push off to open. All right, then we go into the rocking chord structures. All right, the next part of that song would do this. And you're basically strumming chords. All right. Now let's go through it just a little more. you're kind of sliding chords there. And a rocking rhythm. Now that we've completed a rockabilly tune, let's do a gospel tune. What a friend we have in Jesus. Okay, that's the first part, and we'll go back and you'll notice it's a lot of tremolo chords. Right here we have a lick. It's kind of a chord slide. Now this is a lick that I have kind of created, and I'm trying to emulate a steel guitar. You hear the chord change. Again. Steel guitar lick. And as you do your tremolo, if your right pick is slide up the neck a little bit, you'll notice it gets a little bit smooth versus chord, like here. And then tremolo. Now you can rock back and forth. Now you notice in the ending there, we have a few little hammer-on licks. And then we hammer with this finger. We're basically hammering chords. And then a chord. Now I'll take the second part and work up to that. Okay, now let's try a waltz tune. An old tune that is a favorite waltz of a lot of people's is the Kentucky Waltz. Now we're going to play a little bit of this and go over some of that, and during this tune we'll discuss a little bit about the art of backup. Okay, now this is in the key of C. We'll go back and take that a little bit slower. And it starts like this. And then we're rocking again. And you'll notice here with the tremolo, if you bring your pick up towards the neck, you'll get a little bit sweeter tone. I'll stop here the melody just for a second to show you a little difference in tone. This is up the neck. If you slide back towards the bridge, you get a much coarse tone. Back up. Alright, now we'll start again. Now you'll see as I do more tremolo that I work my hand more up the neck to get a sweeter tone. Boy, that's high. Now for those of you who like the high notes, we'll go back and do that high part again. This is a high G note, which is your 15th fret. I'll do that once more. That'll carry you right in to where the singer will begin. Now on this song, I'll sing just a little and show you the art of backup. Now what you want to accomplish when you're trying to play backup is that you're wanting to not interfere with the singer. You're wanting to add things around his vocal that will make him sound better. You don't want to overpower him or play a lot of notes while the singer is saying actual words and singing. You want to try to play little notes and fills that will work around the vocal. Now I'll try to demonstrate. We were waltzing one night in Kentucky, and you can do a tremolo now. Now a tremolo like that, a little chord tremolo, will not interfere with the singer. Now I'll show you again. We were waltzing one night in Kentucky beneath the beautiful harvest moon, and I was the boy that got lucky, but it all ended too soon. Now if you notice how those little notes and fills, they kind of go around the vocal and they don't cover the vocal. Now to give you an example of wrong, we'll try that line again. We were waltzing one night in Kentucky. Now by that I'm saying a lot of notes that cover the vocalist as he's singing. We were waltzing one night in Kentucky. So back to where we was. Just try to do little notes and little fills between the end of his sentence, and at certain ends of a line you can add little tricks and little fills that will go around him and support him and make him sound much better and still not crowding. I like that high note. Now we're into bluegrass standards. Now when we mention the word bluegrass standards and the mandolin, we have to consider the great Bill Monroe. Bill Monroe is the father of bluegrass music. Now we'll do some Monroe songs, and I'll show you basically what Monroe does in my style. The first song we'll do is the Wheelhouse. Okay, you probably noticed that song has got two parts again. Now I'll start off a little bit slower for you. Now you can vary that just a little bit, and you can go. notice Monroe will do a lot of tremolo and slides. Now the second part of that song just a little bit slower. The next song is entitled Daybreak in Dixie. Now before we go right into this song is a lot faster than some of the other tunes we've done. And one of the things that we need to try to do on the mandolin when we're playing faster songs is to remember that we can't play quite as many notes as we looked at earlier through where we had the basic melody and we added more hot licks here and there to sweeten it up, we called it, and stuff to this effect. When we're playing real fast songs, we have to take some of the extra notes out and get back down towards basic melody, which we can do with tremolo licks and have sustain on the notes. That'll help play some of the faster tunes so we can come out sounding clear and distinct on our notes, which is always important. Now this song, Daybreak in Dixie, starts off like this. As you can see right there, that's a whole lot faster than some of the stuff we've played. Now let's slow it down a little bit and take a little closer look. That's your intro. All right, then we go into the first line. Right there, as I just said before we started, we're getting into tremolo on certain notes and we're holding them out, and we'll do that line again. And then it goes on, and let's do it one more time. See that sustain. And the line goes again. And then we kind of brace to a chord and rock back and forth. There's that sustain again. Back to the second part again. And notice that that sustain, we keep the notes going. Now let's do it one more time up to speed, and you'll notice how fast it really is again. Now here's your sustain. Alright, now we've got that fast tune finished. There's another fast tune that we can look at. It's a tune that's pretty much known and associated with the mandolin. It's another song that has come from the great Bill Monroe, a tune called Rawhide. Now it would start like this. Now in doing that right there, you'll notice I'm playing it not exactly as Bill Monroe would. I'm doing it in my version. Now it has a lot of what we just talked about earlier with the tremolo licks, and because of the speed of the song, you have to go back to the theory we was doing with less notes and playing more basic melody. We'll do it again. Alright, that's the first part of the song. Now we go into the second part. Now that would be your second part. Now, what I've tried to do here is to show you a little bit of another mandolin picker style, Jesse McReynolds. He does a style known as cross picking. Now as we go into that second part again, you'll notice where we start with like our third string from the bottom, and we'll go to the bottom string and pick up. His style of picking is known as cross picking. Now it starts in the E position. Do that just a little bit slower so you can see it again. Then we move to the A position. Then the D. And then we can do a fragment. I'll do that again a little bit slower, and you'll see the strokes and rhythm there. Alright, now we'll go back and play that with a little speed from the start. Now the last section of our tape will cover show tunes. Now these show tunes are tunes that I have used traveling and playing and doing live shows. These are a couple tunes that I've gotten pretty good response from doing from the stage, and maybe you could try them too. Alright, the first one we'll do is an old tune called Goofus. A friend, Red Rector, another mandolin player, has always liked this version of the song. Now it starts off like this. I'll play a little bit of it up to tempo. Okay, that's the first part. Now you'll notice that I had a little intro that sort of falls in the swing vein, and this tune is a little bit on the bouncy and swingy style, but it does a good change of pace to do in a live show. Now let's slow down the intro just a little bit and take a closer look at it. I'll do that once more. Okay, then we ease into the first line. Okay, now the second part of the song involves some chords that would go like this. Let's do that up a little more to speed. And then tremolo. That would finish it up from the end right there. And then to end it, we can go right back to the intro lick that we used at the start. We can repeat that again and end the song. I'll take a few notes up to that point and then end it for you again. I'll do that once more. I'll lead up to it. showing you how it is a little more to speed. I'll do it just once more. Now we're down to the last tune. It's a tune called Arab Bounce. It's a lot more peppier. Like this is how it goes. Alright, that's got right many more notes in it. We'll take the first part of it a little bit slower. Second part. Right there is a lick we'll take just a little slower. It's a rake from this chord position. And then. Now, another version is a high melody part that strays from the melody but goes like this. Now you can take that and add it as your first part, and you can rotate from the first version we've done and then use that high part to give you another part to rotate to. Now, an ending for that song would go like this. I'll do that one more time. As we come to a close of our lessons, I sincerely hope that you have been able to learn from our tape and that you will get with other musicians and experience the great fun in making music together. I also hope that if you hear of the Lost and Found group appearing in your area, that you will come out to our show and we could have the chance to meet in person. I'd love to meet you. I'll leave you with a little short story. There was a young musician and an older musician. The older musician asked the young musician, "Son, do you know the way to Carnegie Hall?" The young musician said, "No, sir." Well, the older musician said, "Practice, practice, practice." So until next time, happy pickings. If you'd like to write, the address is Lost and Found, Post Office Box 90, Woolwine, Virginia, 24185.